The views, information, or opinions expressed during the Geeks Under the Influence podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of RVA Magazine, Loot Crate, amzn.to, or their employees. Listener discretion is advised. Fuck off if you don't like it.
Late one night on Earth 1, the Hobbit was busy cleaning up after a particularly fun episode of Geeks Under the Influence when all of a sudden a vortex opened up and the Flash from Earth 420 appeared.
Hi guys, I'm Jay Baruchel. I'm the Flash on Earth 420.
Much to Hobbit's surprise, Jay Baruchel told him that on many other Earths there are other panelists that host Geeks Under the Influence. To give him a better idea on how that went, together, Hobbit and Jay Baruchel traveled to different dimensions to look in on what GUI would be like hosted by someone else. We will be playing those episodes during the GUI Multiverse.
Geeks Under the Influence.
Archie sleeps with Miss Grundy.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
She's a young teacher,
She's
though.
young, yeah.
Yeah, she's a young teacher in this.
But from the books,
oh, Miss Grundy.
Miss Grundy always had the hots for Archie, and Miss Grundy was old and decrepit
like his
looking.
grandmother
Yeah,
age, yeah.
She looked like a grandmother, and she's like, "Oh, Archie."
So
And
please
they're
tell
like,
me on like the promos for this is like, this ain't your daddy's Archie.
No, they don't even do it.
Should have.
They should have, but they
Yeah.
don't do anything cheesy like that.
Okay.
It's just
No.
yeah, and it's the whole thing is wrapped into a mystery, but it's really cool the way
so
they do
good.
it. It's definitely worth checking out.
Well, like there's modernization that comes with any kind of comic series. Like we're talking CW, like the Flash and Arrow and all that. They have kind of a modern tinge to them. They're not super comic booky, except for maybe the Flash. The Flash is probably the most comic booky out of all of those.
They do touch a little bit more on it.
Yeah, they're a little bit zanier with it, but you kind of have to modernize it to get a younger audience, a millennial audience nowadays. You can't,
Right.
You can't do the Dick Tracy treatment at all.
No, no way. And because tonight, since we're talking about the lovely lady of Supergirl, let's bring it on into the episode. Because, I mean, who else is better, if you know anything from the comics, to really modernize a character, to bring her up into her own, for years lived in the shadows of Superman, but this show, women's rights, bro. She's a powerhouse.
And I like that they've now, and by the way, there are spoilers throughout this conversation about Supergirl.
Absolutely.
Up to the season finale of season 2. But the one thing I like is they did introduce Superman, and there hasn't been talk about doing a Superman series. Now, that might happen eventually, but they want to give legs to Supergirl first. And I think that's a real smart way to do it.
And I want to say it's most likely because of the DC cinematic universe, they haven't done a Superman show yet. I feel like they want to get all of those, underrated characters a chance, because we always get those main ones: Superman, Batman, now Wonder Woman, which is great. But their DC is focusing on the Justice League, and Superman is like the main forefront. So we just gotta hopefully see
and
Superman and
again
TV
for
universe too.
Tonight's episode for the CW Supergirl. I think she especially being in her own universe, technically separate from the other shows, she could spearhead her own run of, like, we could be talking about the Supergirl verse.
Yeah, absolutely.
The way this show has really brought about, like, a great lead character, someone who normally isn't in the lead. Like I said, for years, Superman kept her in the shadows, always super protected her, never really let her out until later on. And then for them to bust out with this random character in this show now, Supergirl, to me, I've put Supergirl above Arrow.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's probably the most fun.
Agree.
Of all
absolutely.
the shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there are things that are fun about all of them. Even Arrow, as dour as it is most of the time, Supergirl is probably the most fun of the Arrowverse shows.
Absolutely. And before we get into that fun, I think we should actually go ahead and do our official intro for the episode.
I
at
guess
this
maybe,
point.
yeah.
I mean, we really jumped into it tonight because I know we're all super excited. But
Absolutely.
tonight, Geeks Under the Influence, we talk about Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Woo!
Dorks.
So, hi, Mr. Host.
Hi. Scotty Big Daddy Preston here as your host tonight for the CW Supergirl episode.
Sounds like the lamest rap name ever.
Money. Honeys.
Big Daddy Preston up in the house.
Word.
I mean, this is a guy coming from guy who's almost had as many nicknames as I have.
That's true. Oh,
Isn't that right,
because Sean
Lunchbox?
Lucas, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to wait until we started recording before I had to, give you the official name, man.
Thank you, Lunchbox.
I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
So,
Sean Lucas, you've been Sean Luke, you piece of shit for a while now.
yeah.
that is official.
Yeah.
Shall
Yeah,
we say.
that's an official.
It's been decreed by the Crumpler clan, so yeah, I guess it is official.
And it has come up in the credits of the video version of this podcast before as well.
Yes.
That's
wonderful.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the worst.
Side note on
Yeah,
that,
it
I
is.
actually had the side patent to officially call him a piece of shit outside of the Crumpler family.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was the
nice.
first one.
Yes.
Yeah. Even before you got ordained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the first one
Okay.
to
Well,
outside.
This guy.
High five on that. Yeah.
Yes.
Way to call your friend a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're going to be called a piece of shit, have it done with love.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Absolutely.
Nothing but love.
So, again, Scotty Big Daddy Preston here, bringing the show. To my left, again, we're talking about the Sean Lucas, the man, piece of shit that we love.
Thank you.
Our resident DC comic book
Yeah, I was about to say our
nerd.
DC
Yeah.
guru of
Yeah.
all DC gurus.
Yeah.
Our analog Wikipedia on all things DC.
Damn right. Damn right.
I know like all of these names.
I knew you would. So, but then also to your left, the man we call Smallville. Welcome back again, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Always, man.
That nickname
Always.
alone earns you on a Supergirl episode. you know?
Absolutely. I mean, well,
Oh, you're doing a Supergirl episode? Dude, have you called Smallville yet? Oh, yeah, I got to do that.
probably.
bro, we called him 6 o'clock. He was still
yeah.
here, and he was still here before you.
Yeah, sorry.
You know.
It's more like 7.
And then to my right, the guy that we got to keep around, I guess.
Yeah, the guy that does all the technical end shit on this podcast. Your lackey.
Yeah, I like that.
On this earth, anyway.
On Earth 666.
Actually, this would be Earth 105. And yes,
105,
Sean,
yes.
I understand the multiverse doesn't go that high as 105.
I wasn't really going to say anything.
Okay.
Oh, bullshit.
All right.
No,
Well, I saw the
wasn't. I was
wheels
gonna let
turning
it
in
go.
that
I was
brain of
gonna let
yours,
it
sir.
go.
You know.
I was going to let it go.
Awesome. All right. So we've already started talking a little bit, but let's go ahead and give, of course, our mad props.
Sponsors.
Dancing over here for our lovely sponsors. First and foremost, the people who somehow got with us almost, not pretty close to the beginning, considering how many episodes we have now. amzn.to. Yes. Go through the link at GUIpodcast.com. Go through and do all your normal purchases, the normal stuff you would buy. We just get a little piece and hopefully, I'll say improve some of the equipment.
Get better cameras. Get better.
Yeah.
Better mics.
Trust me, we don't want HD, but we need improvement on helping out with this.
Yeah, nobody needs
right
to
here.
see this in HD, but it's just nice to have a clearer picture in general.
A clean picture, if
Yes,
you will.
absolutely.
A clean picture, if you will. So again, Amazon.com, this doesn't affect your purchases, but if you do go through our website, the GUIpodcast.com, click on the link, takes you right back to Amazon.com, do all your normal stuff. It doesn't affect you one bit, other than you're just helping these poor schlups out.
We are schlups.
We are schlups.
Yeah.
And then we have, again, another great group that somehow bestowed upon us great power, minus the responsibility, is lootcrate.com.
You're just being overly dramatic with this shit,
Dude,
man.
I'm a performer.
Acting.
I talk with my hands. You should know
Master
this by now.
thespian. Aha! I was acting.
I fooled you all. No, not really. But back to Loot Crate.
You're such an idiot. I love you.
I know. Fuck, man, you threw me
Oh,
off,
sorry,
bro.
sorry.
Loot Crate.
I,
We're talking
I was
Loot
on
Crate.
a
Loot
roll.
Crate, dude.
I was
Loot
super
Crate.
dramatic. And dude, bring it back in.
I was
Just
getting
bring it
involved.
back in. Bring it back. LootCrate.com. LootCrate.com. If you are any type of nerd, I will smack the shit out of you.
I wasn't even doing anything that time.
I will smack you in the mouth.
Oh my god, he's so sensitive.
Yeah.
There we go.
I know. I need
just gotta pet him.
How do you host? Oh God,
Hosting is so hard.
it is so hard right now.
Oh, life is so hard.
No, what you do basically is you try to push through and talk about important shit while everyone else in the room is shitting on you constantly.
Well,
That's what hosting on this podcast
Well,
is
see,
all
that's
about.
the advantage that I have on this earth is that I may host, but we still shit on you.
Fuck, that's true.
Shit. So, again, lootcrate.com, y'all. What can I say? It's nerdy heaven monthly.
This
great subscription rates.
Next month is the Guardians crate has Guardians
Oh,
and
yes.
Goonies and a few other things. Like every month is fucking tastic.
It's like Guardians with a mix of the 80s, I believe it is.
Yeah, it's just like an
yeah.
adventure-y kind of pack this month, and I've already seen a couple of the things that are coming out for it, and buddy.
Yeah. And don't forget, the code is still good, I believe, for SAVE3. That is SAVE, the number 3, and you get a little bit of discount on your first crate there.
$3 off first crate.
There you go.
So yeah, just make sure you go through the link on our friends and sponsors page at
Again?
GUIPodcast.com.
With all this talk about shitting, are you sure you don't have a sponsorship from FetLife?
Oh no! Actually, the Squatty Potty is where we're crossing our fingers on getting that.
We're waiting on the final word, man. The final word.
I want that sweet Squatty Potty money.
And on that discussion, feel free to even go to Twitter, which you can find us at GUI Podcast RVA. Join the conversation tonight. Not only we did talk about Supergirl, but obviously we will be talking about the CW universe, the multiverse, and how they all connect.
Also,
and
remember we have a new feature,
man.
We have a new feature, man, on how they can get in touch with us.
Tell us all about it, will you?
The hotline.
Ooh, the hotline.
Geeks Under the Influence, now featuring the Geeks Under the Influence hotline. If you
Yes.
dial 804... Okay, if you dial 804-505-4GUI, that's 804-505-4484, you can leave text or voicemail for us. And if you leave a voicemail, you might even be featured on an episode of Geeks Under the Influence, much like a friend of ours, Sophia,
Yes.
that will be playing a couple minutes of her take on Supergirl a little bit later on this very episode. But text, and we'll share your text on an episode. Involve your feelings on things on an episode of GUI.
Right. And that kind of leads me into, obviously, when you hear or watch the episode, we got 4 dudes. Unfortunately, well, thankfully for Sophia, she called in, she left a message, so we do have a female voice that's going to be on the episode. We did have a last-minute cancellation. We were not trying to make a sausage party for Supergirl, but it kind of ended up that way.
Talk about
unfortunately.
a very feminist-friendly...
Yes, we are giving mad props to the ladies.
Well, and it's definitely meant for like teen girls, and there's just like 4 like dudes in their like 30s and 40s just like hanging out talking about it. So
yeah,
we understand that could be taken creepy.
That's right. I'm no longer the old bastard now that you're on the
Yeah,
episode.
thanks. But just think about what you just said. A sausage party for Supergirl. It just sounds awful.
No, he's just talking about the name of the first episode of season 3. It's going to be
that's
called
true.
Sausage Party for
Sausage
Supergirl.
party for Supergirl.
Oh boy.
You're
You're
invited to the sausage party.
You might find that one a DVD a taboo.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's going to be the next big parody right there. Done and done.
No, that's Super Sausage Party Girl. That's a different movie entirely.
I'd still watch
Wow.
it. Maybe. Oh, well,
Sausage
anyway.
Party was disgusting. That movie. If y'all ever saw it,
Unfortunately.
I tried to watch it. I got about 10 minutes in, and then
I had to walk out. It was bad.
Well, fortunately, I didn't try to watch it until on Netflix, and then I'm sitting there going, I don't like this, and oh, my 3-year-old son is standing right next to me. We'll turn this off. Because I mean, I allow my son he sees and hears stuff. It's just the type of parenting I am, but That one just took it to the brink of just like, I don't want to even hear it. So, yeah, done and done. Anyways, Supergirl. Obviously, we're a huge. All of us we're caught up. A great transition from one station to another. The main focus I wanted to bring on, because again, let's just say here in the comic book realm, there are not many female leads, at least for the movies, the live action, certain things like that. So, what do you guys think of how this is, and how is this going to compare to the new Wonder Woman movie?
I would say I'm actually really impressed with Supergirl. I think their season 2 picked it up so much,
big time,
especially going to the CW. I mean, that goes without question. But I think the empowerment going on now with female superhero leads is huge, and I think this is even going to boost the audience for Wonder Woman that much more going in.
Well, I feel that really the second season is where they hit their stride. For the most part, there's still a little bit of wonky writing here and there as far as like they're having a very strong feminist message in a lot of these. And the first season, especially the first few episodes, it was like Will Smith mentioning how often he killed people in Suicide Squad, where every 5 minutes in Supergirl it was like, I'm a strong, independent woman. It's like, we know. Like, we agree. Like, we're all on the same page. You don't have to mention it every 5 minutes. But again, this is for a teen audience. And so sometimes the writing is a little bit heavy-handed, but they're also fighting against, like, all of history being male-focused instead of female-focused. So there is an understanding there.
Well, and it kind of adds to the positive note on that one, where the whole, and you knew it was going to come up even before this line was uttered, and in the first, like, I think it was the first episode, why they still call her Supergirl, not Superwoman. And the way Kat, just explained it, going, I'm a girl, I'm your boss, I have power. Girl, woman, it doesn't matter what you're called, you're still in the position, you still have the power to do what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. And she described it perfectly with that line of just like, I named her Supergirl, it doesn't matter, girl, woman, it's there, the power is there, you don't let the label define it.
Just don't tell that to Mayim Bialik, because she has some really strong feelings about women being called girls. I don't know if you saw that rant that she went on about it.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And she was like, it's like demeaning. I was like, I call like dudes boys all the time. Like, I don't, it's not, I don't mean it demeaning when I say a girl. I just mean like female, either in gender or identity. Well, like it's not ever meant. Like,
well, the sad part about the English language is that there's so many words for the same thing. It's all really about your tone and your attitude on how you use the word. So that's
exactly.
Yeah. So I saw you.
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my main thing bringing this in, because again, this is the first like big female lead, even like, and the great guest star that she is of Linda Carter. Mm-hmm. If you're old enough or even just old enough to see the reruns and a few things, Sean Lucas, I know you watched it as they were on. You old bastard.
I did.
Yeah. Was the Wonder Woman series back in the day.
The Wonder
Linda
Woman
fucking
series
Carter
was great, but like it didn't really have any continuity to it, because the first season was in World War II, and then the next two seasons took place in the 70s. So it was really
right. They did a lot of weird jumping.
But the fact that she's involved in it is really awesome.
Absolutely,
it's very much of a nod. And and Linda Carter still looks back really fondly on her days as Wonder Woman.
Well,
and I mean, and she's embraced it, because there's two ways you can go with it. You can either embrace it and go, yeah, I was Wonder Woman and have gotten to do other things, or you can be like, yeah, being Wonder Woman defined everything I ever did in my career, and I couldn't really do anything else after that. And
Have y'all seen that new commercial that's out with Supergirl, Linda Carter? She's got Melissa Benoist, I think that's how you say her name.
I say Benoit, but that's a different thing.
Yeah. She's got an
I think
no, you don't
people
know.
actually
Benoit's
pronounce
a
it
bad thing.
Benoist, but
Yeah.
Benoit is another way
I
of
think
saying
that's
it.
the proper pronunciation, but we're in
Benoit.
America. All right. All right.
She's wearing the Wonder Woman boots.
I've
and
seen that.
Linda Carter comes up, and it's actually a really powerful commercial.
Yeah, it's
thought
like
that
I
was
borrowed
awesome.
these from a friend or something.
Yeah.
She says.
Yeah,
And-
for the
borrowing
spot
from a
for
friend.
the movie.
Yeah,
I did
yeah,
see
it's
that,
great.
yeah.
It's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. See, well, and that just leads to even more credence of this is regardless of TV, movie, because as far as the reviews and what we've seen, the Wonder Woman movie is going to be fucking phenomenal. And
I'm hoping. I am
super
hoping.
stoked for it.
yeah. I mean, so like I said, early reviews are good so far. Dear God, pray the internet doesn't crash once the fanboys get a hold of everything.
Actually,
God.
Linda Carter saw it. And she liked it. So
Well, and
Yeah,
to me
but-
that gives credence, but to some of those fanboys out there that just, I mean, well, there's going to be at least a handful of people that will just shit on it because they shit on everything at first.
Sure.
To be fair,
That's called the internet.
yeah, exactly. You know, this wonderful device that we can just shit on people. Because that's the
Dude,
theme of tonight. Besides
again with
Supergirl,
this
is shitting
shitting.
on people.
Again, Squatty Potty.
I thought
Like,
the
let's
I
get
really
that
thought the
endorsement.
internet was for sharing pornography and slandering others anonymously.
Well,
No,
this-
people just don't do it anonymously anymore. That's
Yeah, I
all.
know.
That's the biggest change.
Well, it's moved into where people think that their internet behavior can be how you act in the real world too, and it's
No.
absolutely not.
It's horrible.
Because it's already shitty on the internet when you do it. Again, Squatty Potty.
We just need Jason Mewes here just to go, what the fuck is the internet?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. I'm waiting. I pray for that day. But
But one of the major conversations with Supergirl, and in a little bit, we're gonna hear from Sophia from Brooklyn about like kind of her take on feminism and Supergirl and female led superhero movies and shows. But there's a conversation that studio execs and the like are not confident about a female led show, that a strong independent female will turn off viewers. And I don't think that's the case whatsoever. I think what is more the problem with the couple opportunities they've had in the past to have that kind of situation is that it's overly tropey and they need to create a romantic interest. They've got to do these very effeminate like additions to the character in order for the people in charge to feel comfortable with it. And honestly, you don't need any of that. Male or female, you have a well-written, well-rounded, and interesting character that will drive the show, no matter the race or sex or sexuality or any of that.
well, the problem is it's not even necessarily the character, or even like there's been great, like we brought up Constantine on the Arrow one, how like it was the big wigs that just totally underrated that show. It was doomed from the beginning. Have the great character, have the great actors that do it, but unless the writers are 100% on board, you're going to get that stupid, oh, you got to have the love interest bullshit. You got to have this. You've got to have the writing fully backing the character and everybody having the same vision going down that road.
I like the love stories. I think they overdo it. I think a lot of it has to do with the CW network and its
That's
audience.
true.
And
That's
being
true.
a
Well, and-
millennial myself, I think they're gearing towards my group of people and our particular
More
brand
of a
of
gathering of people.
And the whole thing is, to me,
Yes.
there's not even a problem with a love story, but when you take a superhero or a character such as Supergirl, there's the villains, there's other stories to be had, but then you take it and it's nothing but the love story when there's so much more of a world to explore. That's when it gets just stupid.
Yeah, because when they could, I mean, they were able to do it, to weave it in nicely, but like her pining away for James in the first season, it's like, it's everybody, the whole world's crashing in, but James still doesn't like me. It's like, okay, no. And luckily they got away from that, which was awesome.
Yes.
Because it's just like, really, because is this a kissing show? Because I didn't really want to watch a kissing show.
Yeah.
Well, and because Smallville and I even had a conversation about that. Nothing against the actor is great. It's worked leading into Guardian and everything like that. But James Olsen is not necessary for this show. that character is not necessary.
I would actually agree with that.
Yeah, I would. I would go
That,
with
that was that was probably one of the few little bullshit ways that they had a connection to Superman.
Well,
Is
and
the only reason why.
it was
Exactly.
definitely that, but there's a kind of a weird contrast with the romantic like triangles and everything in the show is that the weaker writing with the romance. I'm not saying that a strong female character can't have a romantic interest.
Right.
It's just one thing that they've luckily avoided for the most part is her needing to be rescued by the man in the show. That's not
God.
been, that has not been a thing, which is great. But the weaker writings is when she's pining after something that she can't have. The stronger writing is when she was actually in a relationship with a guy I actually didn't even like. The character was what's his name?
Mon-El. Yeah.
I mean, I thought the character was fine. It's just I didn't really see him as a long-standing character from the get-go. There was just not a lot of personality.
Dude,
there.
I could talk for an hour about Mon-El.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, I guess I'm starting to get over my issue with Jimmy Olsen as the character. I have no problem with, you know, who he is. Like, I think him being the Guardian, but I just have an issue with him being so much bigger than Superman. Like Jimmy Olsen,
Like,
is
just
the
physical
guy-
looking,
just
yeah.
physically looking. We were having a conversation. We think Wynn would have been a better casting for Jimmy Olsen.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
have
Just another actor do win.
And you remember Supergirl.
As much as we
and-
love Win, I got to
Yeah.
throw that in there.
Yeah.
As much as we love Wynn,
him.
I think Wynn is his
Toy
character.
Man
He
Jr..
could have done either character, and I would have been satisfied with it. But in Smallville, Supergirl from the show, Laura Vandervoort, who is actually Indigo Brainiac in the show.
Yes.
She was had a love interest with Jimmy Olsen, who was Aaron Ashmore in Smallville. So
That's right, yeah.
I know Supergirl does have a love interest with Jimmy in the comics. So I just think they could have.
Well, to be fair, at one point or another, usually in most of these circles, whether DC, Marvel, someone is fucking somebody else at one point or another. I mean, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you can have Emma Frost fuck Tony Stark in the Marvel world,
Oh,
you know? I mean...
to be fair, Emma's fucked a lot of people.
Hey.
Well, Emma Frost is a whore. Shall we just say that?
She does some
Hey,
fucking.
by the way, come on, let's not. Tony Stark.
Oh,
that guy-
he's a whore too.
Yeah, he's a
don't
whore,
get me
yeah.
wrong.
He's worse than Emma. In
That's
that
true.
regard.
Yeah.
That is true.
We gotta say
Tony
that,
Stark does
especially on the
sleep
Supergirl.
around. Yeah, I mean,
Tony Stark is Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet.
oh, fuck anything that moves.
As long as you're not drinking Heineken.
Heineken.
Fuck that shit.
Paps.
Scotch.
Scotch. Well, yeah, okay, it's fine. Fuck up the line. Anyway.
Yeah. So I'm kind. I really just dig this show. The
Yeah,
show is
I do
great,
too.
and it's fun to watch. And I don't really. It's everything everybody's bringing up is fantastic. I don't really think about all this stuff when I watch it. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Well, and on that note, let's bring in part of what Sophia left us for a message for. She definitely has a great take on a few things, so let's see.
Well, I think it's really important that we have kind of a female perspective
yeah.
on this
Yeah,
show.
totally.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
There's about 6 minutes here. We're only going to play like a minute or two. Just kind of the introduction of her thing. At the end of this episode, after we say good night and the end theme, we'll put the whole thing on there. It's just another 6 minutes, but she brings up some really solid points. So I think it's important that we include that in the conversation.
And let me say, Sophia, she lives in Brooklyn, but I knew her when she lived here and everything. Very smart woman. This is very nerdy. A wonderful cook. Let me say, a wonderful cook.
Well, and we're talking with her about maybe doing some article stuff for us. And,
absolutely,
and
yeah.
getting
She
more
talked about
involved.
doing some writing. So
we're just going to do a minute or two of kind of Sophia's take, and then we'll get back into it on our end. So.
Hi, this is Sophia from Brooklyn, New York. I have been watching Supergirl since it premiered on CBS. Then switched networks to the CW. Well, Honestly, that was the smartest move for the show. I really needed this to be a great show. I wanted a strong female lead carrying an entire show because I needed it to bust the myth that female-led projects aren't worth Hollywood's money and time. It took Hollywood 75 years to give Wonder Woman her standalone live-action movie. But she's iconic. Everyone knows who Wonder Woman is internationally. The 70s Linda Carter show was certainly kitschy, but the strong female message and women helping women get ahead instead of trying to push each other down was so overt, so prevalent. Diana Prince carried the show. I just rewatched the entire series again in preparation for the movie. I wanted Supergirl to have that same message, but in the context of today, I'm still waiting for the show to get there. It took quite a few episodes for Kara to figure out who she wanted Supergirl to be. It's an origin story with a slight change to canon, so it needed time to establish this new universe. I get it. It took even more episodes for the show to figure out how Supergirl herself fit into the show. Kara's awkward and slowly finding her voice, but it's been more of an ensemble drama like Blind Spot, where an episode focuses on a different ensemble player storyline, then there's a big nasty to be defeated, either within a single episode or through a standard 3-episode arc. The notion that female-led projects need stronger supporting characters because she can't carry the project alone, that I find utterly false. A strong ensemble cast is fantastic. A strong female lead is fantastic as long as everything else is well done.
I think that's a good place to stop it. The entire conversation that she shared with us, it's about 6.5 minutes, is going to be on the end of this episode. So stay tuned after the closing outro track.
She kind of echoed a lot of the sentiments that we were saying.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I think it's because they're obvious.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, and she brought up a good point. Like, I was going to kind of even lead into something about Monel as well. And she made a perfect analogy with a Blind Spot because, again, that's a show I've watched before. You know, it's a good story and everything.
It's a Berlanti show, too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It is.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It really is.
That's part of the reason why I liked it is because I kind of
You just like the chick with tattoos, man.
Says a guy whose wife is covered in tattoos.
Hey.
He didn't say he
children. Yeah, I was talking about you, man.
Yeah.
And you didn't deny it.
Well, I know I didn't deny it. Hey,
But,
I got him. I like him.
But again, you do see that with Blind Spot though, where she's obviously a very strong character in Blind Spot. If you've never watched the show, it's a great show. You should definitely catch up with it. She's obviously a very strong person. You know, there are inhibitors in the beginning because she doesn't throw anything off. She has amnesia, doesn't remember everything. It's about building back her memory and different things like that. But the other characters really is a shoving match of, well, who's in charge? You need to stay back here. You need to do this, even though we kind of know you could do something, but we just don't know yet, you know, and that type of thing.
The show's about Jane, but
she's in the background a lot of the time.
She's in the background, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not the case with Supergirl at all.
No, Supergirl. And actually, I was part of carrying on that arc from Sophia. What I was going to say is that even in the second season, Monel multiple times going, let me save you, let me help you. And she's like, no, sit down. I've got it.
Yeah.
And that's really where it started taking off in that whole aspect.
I just want to sort of make a point here, and this goes back what she was saying, 75 years it's taken for them to really grasp female superhero characters. And I think all of us at birth, you know, for forever, really, we've just been programmed to idolize male superheroes. I mean, we're born, women typically, I'd say the vast majority of women aren't really into superheroes in comics. Usually men are. So I see how they kind of gear towards it, but it's very a very good relief to feel that women can actually get into the stuff men have been getting into for so long and be successful at it.
Like vaginas.
Yeah.
Women are usually more successful at getting into vaginas than men are. In my experience with
I've been
with
reading
friends.
Wonder Woman for years.
Yeah.
Just because it's fantastic, and they've had fantastic people writing it over the years.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of the issue is where comic books come from. I mean, we're talking like the 30s is when comics really started taking off in the first place with superheroes, or the late 30s, where there was definitely a man's role and a woman's role back then, and even further on into the Silver Age and everything, a woman played with Barbies and learned how to bake, and men played with army men and learned
comic books.
read comic books.
Yeah.
But time has changed where Wonder Woman wasn't really written for women when it first came out. It was written for men. But times are changing now that you're getting really strong female characters in comics, and comics are not a boys' game anymore. And there's definitely pushback by some people that they like the things to be the same way they've always been. And on some regards, I understand that you don't want a character that you've loved and read for years to change dramatically just to incorporate a minority character or a different sex. And to a certain degree, it's not even about it being now Thor's a girl. Oh no. It's more like, if you're doing it because it makes sense with the storyline, then go to fucking town. But if it feels forced, people are going to tell that it's forced. And a lot of female role stuff in TV shows, movies, comic books feels forced a lot of the time. And that's why I like Supergirl, is that at first it felt a little bit forced on the first couple episodes, but then it started really getting its legs, and it feels a lot more natural now. And that's why it's become one of my favorite CW shows.
Yeah. Well, and even touching on like what you talked about with the origins of the comics and everything, like someone like Wonder Woman, she was actually originally drawn, and you can see it in the comics and even in like some of the early cartoons. Technically, her physique, she was bigger than Superman. Taller,
yeah, burly.
and broader, but
Amazon.
still Amazonian.
She was an Amazon.
But she was bigger, but still, I mean, I'm a straight man. She was a beautiful woman. The way it was drawn for the way it was back in the, she was strong and beautiful. And you can see going into Silver Age and stuff, even though she was always strong, still at the forefront for Justice League and with Batman and Superman and doing stuff, you could tell the body shape, how the body shape has changed. And how it definitely was adapted for more appeasing to the men, to things like that, even though she could still bounce the bullets off the bracelets and do stuff. And again, look at Supergirl and Power Girl. If you're going to bring in... Because we had that discussion on the DC episode right there.
That boob window, though.
Dude, that boob window. Because we talked about that on the DC episode last year.
Way
wasn't
back,
it? Or,
yeah.
Yeah, way back
and,
when.
I mean, and that was something that crusty old curmudgeon of an alcoholic decided to do.
Well, they also did it to see how far they could go before they got in trouble for
Well,
it.
yeah.
Well,
he never got in trouble, and then when
yeah.
when the '80s came along, people like Bart Sears and Art Adams were just like, "Oh, okay, here we go, boom."
Yeah, and it was nothing but boobs.
Yeah, nothing but boobs.
Well, not nearly as bad as Liefeld's boob drawing, because like his proportions are so unbelievably.
Actually, I said Art Adams. I'm sorry, it wasn't Art Adams. It was Adam Hughes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Art Adams drew
I knew
the
who
X-Men.
you meant. Yeah,
Art
so-
Adams drew the X-Men.
Right.
I think a really good way they could actually introduce Power Girl into the multiverse, like maybe have her on Flash's Earth, or someone it would be really cool if she decides to like figure out how to wear a superhero costume, and she's like has that boob window. Oh, this is too revealing. Takes it off, and she gets more dressed.
Reasonably dressed.
That could be a really good.
That would have been a good nod in the first episode or two when Wynn is making her costume, and
If
she
they had done that,
if she actually tried on an outfit that was more like Power Girl.
Yeah, said
that
I want to
would've
look
been-
like my cousin.
Well, they would have to.
right.
They would have really to do that. They would have to establish another Superman, and it took them long enough to get one in.
Right.
I'm not really worried about
to
two.
be fair, just as a side note, they've already played up Cadmus enough, and they've already gotten enough powers and things from Supergirl that they could make Power Girl in this universe at this point through Cadmus.
Yeah,
They could.
So
Well, I don't feel like Power Girl is a character that's really going to be introduced
No.
into the cinematic universe anytime in the
yeah.
near future.
No,
No.
by any means. And granted, she and even in this universe, to me, she would be a throwaway character. She wouldn't be a stick around like she ended up being in the comics.
Yeah.
It would be that whole thing of just like that, like Sophia mentioned, like a 3 episode arc of Cadmus made a clone and she has to fight her and either throws her into the neutral zone or
kind of like what the neutral zone.
That was Star Trek.
That's
there you go, Jody. That was for you.
The neutral zone is the place between the two blue lines on an ice rink. That's the neutral zone.
Thank you.
You were thinking of
the
you're
Phantom
thinking
Zone.
of the Phantom Zone.
Yeah. I knew it was a zone.
Also,
man.
not the Forbidden Zone where Danny Elfman is Satan. Not that zone either.
I mean, they kind of did that with Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
With the Galatea character, which was a clone of Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you get deep cut stuff, or you get really into it, can you just push up your pretend glasses when you say that stuff?
Yeah,
like,
that
well,
would
actually.
be good.
Well, because if Jody was here, she would actually do that anyways, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that if they were to put her in there, it would be like, oh, I'm kind of mad at you guys for ruining Power Girl.
Yeah, that's why I say it would be a throwaway character, but I don't see it fitting a story arc.
I don't think they need it. I don't think they need it right now.
If Supergirl goes as far as say season 6 and all of a sudden Power Girl shows up, they're desperate is what that comes down to.
And I would say if let's say CW didn't buy up Supergirl in their first season, it was canceled. CBS didn't renew it or something. She probably would have been a Power Girl in a parallel Earth on the Flash or something. Like they would probably recasted the same character.
Yeah, that's not a bad
they
call.
Could have probably done that but with Supergirl, there doesn't need to be a Power Girl if we're still going to have Supergirl.
No, absolutely not. Well, and that even just because of obviously we look at subplots for a lot of this, going on with the feminist power, how coming into her own. You also still have the background, which to me was fitting again, going back to our DC episode, was how they're dealing with the alien refugees coming to Earth and everything. And of course, that was the original reason of why Superman was written and drawn and everything. It's a real, not only does it deal with the feminists coming to their own, but the whole just a tolerance of races and other beings and everything. There were a couple episodes where they may have overplayed it, but I thought it was they kept it just subtle enough, but it gave them enough, especially the first season always is going to be episodic, but it gave them enough subtone to everything to kind of fill in some of the gaps as Supergirl comes into her own and stuff like that.
I really like the alien stuff that they did in season 2, and I loved them establishing the bar as a thing.
Yes, I thought that was perfect.
The alien bar, because really you can do so many things with this by establishing the aliens, and you can bring in alien races, which we'll get to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And this will probably get to something else that I really hope we end up seeing in future episodes of Supergirl, but I say future, I mean the future, because there's there's a certain way they could go there, which they kind of at least starting to lead up to. But I think you know where I'm going.
I know where you're going.
And that is going to come up actually on another point I have for a little bit later.
We're talking
in the
about how they
episode.
finished out the season.
No.
Okay.
We're talking about maybe a legion of things that we can
Oh,
talk
Yes.
yeah.
And
But
no, go ahead.
With the bar that you were talking about, the one thing that I'm upset we're probably never going to see on Supergirl because Marvel and Star Wars are owned by Disney. But I would love if they walked into that bar at one point and there was just the Cantina Band music playing in the background. Would have been just the best fucking thing ever.
Oh God! Like if they get that.
I don't know if it was that much of a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
But it would if they just get that little bonus of just like Disney just for 10 seconds.
Yeah, just like hit it up where it's even Win just walking in and be like that
would be superb. That would be superb. But also, that also leads me into one of my favorite things, and I think Supergirl, the show itself, has done so well, and because both DC and Marvel have failed at this so hard. And as you can see, I had to list them all out. Are the fucking cameos of characters, the guest stars on this show, have been the best in the whole multiverse of all this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's been the best. And Dude, I'm even going to say Red Tornado was really
I thought Red Tornado was really cool.
Dude, I thought they did him perfectly.
I think how they did him was the smart move on that kind of show. That it was well done. I think you got to do tweaks on some of these characters for it to work in that medium.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't necessarily always have them working exactly the way they did in the comic books.
No, by no means. But I mean, just geez. Well, it's kind of like it's the opposite of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We talked about that a couple episodes ago, where it's they had all this potential for these characters to show up and then they're gone. These characters are there. They have their story. They don't always come back, but they definitely made a way better impression.
I actually, one of the shows that they had was Toy Man, which was Winslow's father.
Yes.
Yeah, Win is Toy Man Jr.
Yeah,
Yep.
Toy Man Jr. They actually had Toy Man again in The Flash, but played by Mark Hamill. Was it?
No, that was Trickster.
That was Trickster.
That was Trickster.
Trickster.
Yeah.
No,
you're
Which
totally right.
he was totally the Joker.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
but
He was totally the Joker.
But you're also thinking Toy Man was also in
Toy Man.
Smallville.
Oh yeah, okay. So Trickster, Mark Hamill was played by the Trickster in The Flash.
Yeah,
Right.
That would be James Jesse.
Okay.
He was one of the rogues.
Yes.
All right, yeah, that's right.
So, and on that, even though, I mean, we could have a whole nother episode on the cameos and everything and the characters, definitely look them up, check them out, especially if you're like that piece of shit over there or like Smash, where you're just that much of a DC fan. But the characters were done great. At this point, though, I think it's about time for a little quick break here.
Yep. Take a break
for us.
Talk about our friends of the show.
Yes.
And some trivia.
Oh, yeah.
In town.
Always some trivia.
Geeks Under the Influence trivia.
Which this week, I'll go ahead.
The week that this releases, I think it's going to be... actually, this should release the same day as Fallout trivia.
Okay, I was about to say, I think it falls on a Fallout
which should be
week.
the 5th of June, I think.
Sounds about right.
I'm trying to do... Yeah, the 5th of June.
Okay.
Yeah, so June 5th is at Fallout. The following week, that Tuesday, the next week, is going to be Wonderland trivia.
Absolutely. And with our little fill-in, we'll give you all the details
All
and
the
let
deets.
you know.
Yep.
We'll take a quick break. Potty, grab a drink, and join us back here soon.
Squatty Potty.
Squatty Potty!
Squatty Potty.
Hey guys, thank you for watching the GUI podcast. This is Nick from Instant Replay Live. I get plugged here a lot, and I'm being allowed to do it myself this time. I'm going to plug myself as much as I can. You can check out our Twitter at INST Replay Live. I'm going to plug myself again. I'm plugging myself in front of all these guys right here. You can find us on YouTube if you search for Instant Replay Live, or youtube.com/c/Instant Replay Live, or at InstantReplayLive.com. We do video games, we do tabletop role-playing games, and we do reviews and all kinds of other stuff. So check us out.
Toski from the YMN podcast. Big fans of the Geeks Under the Influence. Talk about all the same shit, so definitely check us out, ymnpodcast.com.
This is Mike the Hobbit, direct from Fallout on a trivia night, telling you to come here every first and third Monday for trivia between 8 and 10, 25-cent wings, drink specials, prizes, and tons of really inappropriate trivia. It's a lot of fun. Do you guys agree? Definitely come out and enjoy trivia every first and third Monday at Fallout.
In addition to Fallout, Geeks Under the Influence takes over Wonderland on the corner of 18th and Main Street for Geeks Under the Influence trivia, ridiculous trivia, goofy music, great food, cheap drinks. 1727 East Main. Come and check us out, 8 to 10, every second and fourth Tuesday.
And welcome back to the second half of the CW Supergirl episode 105 on the Geeks Under the Influence. I had to add a little pizzazz there, pardon me.
I like your pizzazz, sir.
Some jazz hands, some spirit fingers,
Hey,
you know.
That's how I bring the ladies in. That's how.
Is that how you do it?
I do it.
Just like that?
Ask my wife.
He's a married man, ladies.
I am.
He is taken.
I am taking this ring right here. Anyways, welcome back to the second half. As we just, obviously, if you know GUI, we will go off the rails.
Oh, definitely.
So we begin. But before we begin the second half, we do have an addition to our panel tonight.
It's a girl.
It's a girl. Miss Katie Turbo, welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
They let me out of the closet. It was so nice. I saw bright lights. It was amazing.
I know. We did have to. The break was to let her adjust and get kind of acclimated again to the sausage party, if you will.
Yeah.
The sausage party.
The sausage party.
And it's also very nice to have a real life girl on a Supergirl episode.
Yes.
I will say that I was in the room for the YouTube people that saw me cross back and forth. That was to quiet my dog down. I was in the corner for the majority of the first part.
But nobody puts baby in the corner.
Nobody puts Katie Turbo in the corner.
No, not at all.
And I was vigorously taking notes. And during the break, I made very good points to where they thought that I should be added, even though I have not seen the second season of Supergirl.
To be fair, you could have been on the first half too.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
That was your choice.
But I get it too. Is that
No,
if you've
I
only
understand.
seen half of a series, like
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
But Mike put Katie in the corner.
Oh,
you asked me if you could go in the corner.
Yeah, actually-
Don't put this on me.
And you asked Scott to clean off the chair.
that is true.
Hey, who cleaned off the chair?
I don't know,
who's
but
an
I didn't
independent
pay
woman of
attention to
modern
that.
day?
This guy.
That-
Or girl.
There we go.
Your choice.
Your choice.
Your choice.
Or
Dealer's
woman,
choice.
You know.
Dealer's choice. So, and as you know, on the second half of every episode that we do, we will go ahead and start out with what we are drinking.
And we got a theme song that Sean Lucas has not heard yet.
Yes.
I haven't heard
Oh,
this
and
yet.
it's beautiful.
Oh my God.
So good.
Hey, we're fucking drinking. We're getting drunk. You want to know? Well, here you go. Hey.
Is that Kyle?
That's
Yes.
Kyle.
It's very good.
That's Kyle Smash.
And where is his fucking phone call that he was so adamant last night that he was
Oh,
gonna
you're
call in?
correct. He said he was going to call in, and
They've already been on the road for almost 3 hours now. If they left on time,
and
So-
he knows when we
Left
record.
on time
So
Yes.
for Kyle.
Fucking
Yeah.
Superman fans, you can't be loyal to anybody.
no.
Ooh.
Shots
In
fired.
the words of that song, that smash ain't loyal.
And I will make a jingle about that later.
Yeah,
He
probably,
gives us
right?
Wow,
Superman
she's,
fans. a
she's
bad
on
rap.
like for 3 minutes, and we get a hot take already.
I know,
A
right?
Hot take.
Well, and let's take the hot take, and why don't you start us with what you're drinking, Katie Turbo?
All right. Well, tonight I have a mixture of things. I am drinking 2 East Coast local beverages. I have been drinking the Blonde Honey. And currently I am drinking Bold Rock, the IPA hard cider, Imperial Pressed Apple, which is very delicious. It's not as sweet as most ciders, and it's definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite cider, that I have enjoyed recently.
And I love that both of those places are like right down the street from each other, and ones that we will be visiting tomorrow.
Oh, gee, you're bringing that up again. Shut the fuck up.
Did you know he's from San Diego?
I bring that up a
Is
lot
he?
too. Yeah.
Are you a West Coast child?
I'm a West Coast.
Are you
Oh,
West Coast local?
In the house.
We wish he was. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway,
Oh, no, I don't. Sorry.
oh, Sean Lucas.
I'm not drinking anything right now because I've been sick all week, and it sucked. Dude, I was off Monday and Tuesday and spent the whole days sick.
Oh,
And-
don't fake it. You've always been off a little bit. So
Yeah. That's
no,
true.
well, my off days. Yeah, not my off days, but my days off. Okay, yeah, I messed that up. It's fine.
it's fine.
Not
Yeah.
his off days.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm really hoping. I'm hoping to get better so I can have beverages on this Grand Memorial Day weekend when I'm not working, which is like the entire weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, it is what it is.
High five.
Hey,
Yeah.
take those weekends while you can, sir.
Yeah, no,
I mean-
to work the whole weekend. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
dude, I work the whole weekend.
Yeah, I
so.
know you do. Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, no,
You,
I'm
you
glad
got
you know.
you got a family to support.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got. Two
I mean,
kids
yes,
named.
yes,
yeah,
I do.
You got 2 kids named after comic book characters. So
I
yeah,
do. I do. What?
you got a Wolverine and an owl. So yeah,
You know what? I never thought about that before. I
Leland
read that.
Owlsley. Yeah,
That's right.
Weird how that works out.
You fucking nerd.
Yeah. You're just figuring this out now?
Oh, no, just reiterating. That's all.
Like, we've known each other damn near 10
Scotty, the thing
years,
is-
and you're just figuring it out.
You didn't have to name your kids nerdy shit to be on the nerdy podcast. Like, I would have let you on anyway. Like, you don't. I appreciate
You
this.
think that was my pass into this hell?
I understand that was totally for me, and I appreciate it. But
It just gives him more street cred.
Yeah, that's. Oh, it's all about the cred right now. Shit. What? Yeah. Smallville. What's up, man?
Hey, I am drinking my leftover Rolling Rock from last night. I really love the taste of this. It's so I thought it was a Midwest beer, but apparently it's brewed in Pennsylvania.
Latrobe, PA.
So yeah,
There you go.
I didn't know that, but
The only
it's
beer that has rock
really
and roll
good.
in its name.
I love it.
That's true.
So, Hobbit, would you consider that East Coast local?
yes,
Yes.
definitely. That's definitely local to the East Coast.
Well, where is the line drawn?
It's
for
just
East-
down the street from the local brewery Yingling. So yeah, that's East Coast local. Yeah, that's a
Where
thing.
do we draw the line on East Coast local? By the way.
Not on the East Coast. I think that's where we draw the line.
Once you get
Well, like
past
how-
the time
like-
zone.
Yeah, like how far
Oh,
in?
time zone. Okay,
how far
fair
in
enough.
on the East Coast?
See, I was hoping for a real answer. Thank you, Smallville.
Ohio
Unlike
is where the time
this dumb.
time zone changes after Ohio.
So that that
Indiana
means
no longer
Detroit
does
is
the
East
change.
Coast local because
That way,
Detroit
or they do the
is
change with Ohio now, so we can go Indiana
Detroit's
now.
pushing it.
Yeah.
Indiana,
Detroit
Ohio.
is in the Eastern time zone.
Yeah, but Detroit is also considered oftentimes part of the upper
they're
Midwest.
central.
So-
Moved. That's why they're
Michigan
Are
is
they?
Eastern.
Ooh,
Detroit
so
is
it does a
Eastern.
weird little curve.
That's why the Red Wings
she said.
moved. That's why the Red Wings
That's
moved.
right, you said that.
Moved to the Eastern Conference when they did when they realigned the NHL a few years ago.
So it doesn't get dark in Michigan until really late,
Well,
later than anywhere else.
yeah, I was gonna think of a Canadian joke, but I'll leave that alone for now. Anyway, Hobbit. Hi. Hey,
How's it going?
you're my bitch tonight.
I'm here.
I'm here.
Yay!
You're my bitch tonight.
Oh no, that means I don't have any responsibilities.
Hey.
I'm super stoked about
Yeah.
this.
Hey.
To be fair, I'm her bitch first, and then you're second.
You were put in the corner. To be fair.
Not in the corner anymore, bitch.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're encroaching on.
You are
Katie's
sitting next to
territory.
him, though.
That's true.
Yeah, that is a thing.
If you see hands just sort of reach over, ignore it.
Oh,
I
No, that
expect.
better be your hand
Just
over
don't
here.
spit in your hand. You're good.
I just expect it.
all right. So yeah, I am here, and because it was such a nice day, and I felt like something fun and refreshing, I decided to break out my super fancy Kroger brand bottle of lime juice to put in my Tecates. So I'm living the fancy life over here.
So right now you're a Mexican, not a Mexicant.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Miss Katie Turbo was nice enough to make tacos for us earlier, so a Tecate with lime was the perfect.
And a lovely guacamole dip as
a
well.
Guacamole.
Guacamole.
That was
Guacamole.
great.
It was delicious.
You can message me for the recipe.
Oh, there you go.
Absolutely.
Done.
Guacamole. I could eat guacamole every meal.
Truth.
Our first episode.
Guacamole. Ooh. Yeah, Katie Turbo and I are talking about doing a cooking thing here in the near future, so stick around, stay tuned for that. But yeah, Tecate, it's Mexican PBR, really. I mean, when it comes down to it, that's pretty much what it is. And on a nice day, when you're sitting out on the patio, it's a perfect fucking
We're finally
choice.
getting our warmer days, so.
Yeah.
So why do you joke the fuck out of me when I put lime in a PBR?
Because a PBR is not a Mexican beer.
You just said that was the Mexican PBR. So why do you
It's
joke?
Mexican PBR because you put lime in it.
This is the point in the relationship where you just shut your fucking mouth.
Married man right there.
Scotty, you've known me long enough to know that that's something that I'm basically incapable of doing. So,
And that officially is your problem.
You know
I'm
why
out.
they put the lime in the beer to begin with, right?
to keep flies away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It doesn't. Yeah, that's why they put it in the Corona. It doesn't make it taste better because nothing can make Corona
No,
taste better.
no.
thank you. Thank you.
It's piss
Hey,
water.
Mexicans don't drink it. Know what else Mexicans don't drink? Patron.
Nope.
That's true.
It's owned by a hairdresser.
Yeah.
I mean, that's being a little oversimplifying, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's owned by John Paul Mitchell.
Yeah.
John Paul
Not
Mitchell?
a Mexican hairdresser, just a hairdresser.
Just a hairdresser.
Just a
yes.
hairdresser.
He's
You know.
a Mexican.
He's Mexican. Nope.
And so, yeah, that's what we're drinking, I guess. Or,
Well, the share.
There's the share.
Do I get to do my share as
no,
well?
not at all. What are you drinking, Mr. Scotty P?
Well, I decided to stick just I'm keeping it simple with the warm weather. Is the Brooklyn Summer Ale. Refreshing, a little light, tastes good. Keeping the ABV very sessionable. Again, this episode, a good drink overall. Brooklyn, I really can't argue.
Well, a little inside baseball. We recorded the Arrow episode that you guys have already heard by the time this comes out last night. We had to double down on some stuff for the CW Arrowverse, Multiverse episodes. So I don't think anybody here is really trying to like throw down too hard tonight.
No.
These podcasts take a little bit out of you. So 2 nights in a row.
Just a little.
It's a little much. So I don't think we're throwing down too hard. But the one share that we do have is it's not really thematic, but it is delightful, and it's a very fun beer that was betrothed upon me to by one Katie Turbo. And it is the Evil Dead Red Ale.
And it's mighty tasty.
It is,
Oh,
it is
wow.
a
Really
tasty
good
beer.
Yeah.
It is very tasty, but I had no idea it was the Evil Dead beer.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Evil Dead Red, and it is 6.66% ABV.
And where is it from?
It is AleSmith out of San Diego, a whale's vagina.
It's German.
It's German. Discovered by the Germans.
Yes. I'm glad you're up on your history so well, sir.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. But
That
yeah,
is really good.
it's a really tasty
Yeah.
red.
It's very good.
Actually,
Definitely.
this is a good either spring or fall beverage right
Oh,
here.
definitely.
Yeah.
It's a good in between for
Oh
the
yeah,
seasons.
except like October,
yeah.
yeah.
It could,
Oh, yeah.
it could do very well for that.
Definitely.
Yes.
groovy.
especially with the name.
Yeah, I mean, Evil Dead Red Ale in October is about perfect. But
If we can find some for the Halloween episode this year, would
Yeah,
be,
true.
would be
True, true.
ideal.
I'll work on it.
yeah, we'll get that together. So
Okay, so it'll never happen.
that is what we're drinking. There's basically the red ale. It's got a touch more hop than I'm used to necessarily with a red ale, but it's not overpowering at all. Like
No.
it complements relatively well. Just gives it a little bit more body to it. It's like we said, fall or spring. It's maybe a little bit too heavy for the dead of summer. Like it might be a little bit too much. That's when you're going Kolsch's and maybe wit beers and stuff like that.
That's why I said spring.
Yeah, but I'm agreeing with you and then expanding upon your statement, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes,
Thank
yes.
you. I appreciate that.
So this is definitely when it's just a little bit of chill in the air, but or just a touch of warm, but nothing too, just a nice sitting outside.
A good porch beer.
Yeah, this is porch beer, definitely.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's tasty, and I very much appreciate it, darling.
No problem.
It is good.
Tasty in my tummy.
All right, so now the real fun part of the episode, which
Yes.
everybody looks forward to, the drunken scene.
Making a drunken scene. Cue the music.
Making a drunken scene.
Okay, the music.
All right.
All right.
Oh, so you don't have making a drunken scene music yet?
It's not as exciting. No, we have it. I'm just gonna put it in post.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
There I go.
Way to ruin that, Sean Lucas.
Yes.
God damn it.
Well, I'm not on these things enough.
Yeah, that's true.
To know,
Okay, fair
to know
enough.
all the ins and outs.
Fine.
Sorry.
All right, so
I
we're
ruined
okay.
everything
You're not drunk enough yet.
again.
but
At all.
Drink more Coke Zero.
yeah, get the bubblies into that brain, man. Come on.
Then I'm just gonna belch everywhere.
All right.
But there's no sugar.
So for our first drunken scene, we have where this was, I believe, from the first time Barry Allen came into the Supergirl universe.
Basically,
First crossover.
the
Yes. Yes.
episode that is like an episode version of just cute puppies playing with each other, because that's
Basically.
like the most adorable thing that's ever happened is like Barry Allen and Kara like hanging out and
Yeah,
just
all
being
of a sudden becoming
super-
besties
being
and-
besties, and they're
Yeah.
so fucking cute together. They're adorable as shit, and I just like I wanted to like cry because I was so happy and it was so adorable.
It's a
And-
Glee reunion.
yeah, it's just it's just
No,
amazing.
It really
Nice.
is.
It really is.
Nice. All right, so I will be handling the Barry Allen role for this one.
Who's winning it?
I'm winning it.
Winning.
Okay. Then we've got James. Who's Jamesing?
Jamesing? I thought we had a James. What the fuck happened?
Yeah. Did somebody James? I'm Kara-ing.
Katie, why don't you James it up?
I'll James it up.
All right. And let us begin.
Okay.
So I'm drawing circles on the whiteboard. All right. So imagine there are multiple versions of Earth. One where the Nazis won World War II. One where Kennedy was never assassinated.
One where we're all evil.
It sucks. So all of these Earths occupy the same place in space, but they vibrate in a different frequency. So they can't see one another.
Yeah, but it's like you can go fast enough and then it's possible to open like a breach and travel between worlds.
Yeah.
But how could you travel that fast?
Fuck. All right. That's a choice.
Barry races out of the room at super speed, then returns seconds later, giving each of them an ice cream cone.
Yas, bitch.
Yeah, so I was struck by lightning, and the same night a particle accelerator exploded, and I became a superhero.
So you're a superhero too?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, I guess.
Oh dear God!
It's like Ralph Wiggum on helium. What the fuck?
That's what I was going for.
That's fantastic.
I bent my Wookiee.
I'm a Star Wars.
Tastes like burning. Okay.
All right, so that's scene one. So second scene.
Whoo! All right. 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3.
By the way, all I do is Ralph Wiggum.
Oh, okay.
So
All
we're
right,
just
fair
still
enough.
going
It
with
works.
that.
So what's the
I'm Alex on the second one.
I'll be Kara.
No, it was James.
James.
I'm Hank.
And I'm Win.
Win. Okay.
All right.
All right. So I'm as Alex cleaning James's wounds, which sounds super sexy.
You're lucky you didn't take a direct hit.
Very lucky.
I had my shield. I love that shield. Kara gives him a pointed look. And I know what I'm doing, Kara.
Even if Metallo is weakening through, though, he's still a fanatic follower of Lillian Luthor. We have to find out where he's taking Lena and how to help her.
What is it going to take for you to realize Lena's a criminal? She's not the victim. She's got the kryptonite. He broke her out of prison.
What is happening?
Apparently this is the perverted folk call version of this scene.
It just reminds me of like at the drive-in. It's like,
Hello, Mother Leopard. I have your cub. Bring 10,000 coconuts to the...
All right. And Lena is not a member of Cadmus. She's not. She stopped the game with alien weapons. She saved Alex's life when Corbin tried to kill her.
She's not. She shot Corbin. And then her crazy mom turned Corbin into Metallo. So that could have been the plan the entire time.
this is like a 1930s radio horror like thing going on.
I'm just waiting for the next person with coconuts for the horse to.
And like a squeaky door.
Anyway,
We have to start treating Lena Luthor like a hostile. The evidence is too overwhelming.
When if you watch that video, I know you'll find something.
I did. It's clean.
Then find something to prove her innocent.
Everything we've seen so far says the exact opposite.
Well, she's my friend, and I believe in her.
Leaves room.
I'm your friend, which is why I don't understand. It's so hard for you to believe me. So hard. People don't remember this, Kara. But Clark and Lex Luthor used to be best friends for years. Smallville spoiler. And Clark believed in Lex for the longest time, no matter what people said, no matter what kind of proof he saw with his own eyes. No, Lex was his friend, but Clark was wrong.
I'm sorry. At the beginning of that, I also wanted you to go, take my strong hand.
Take my strong hand.
My germs.
That was a long one.
That's what she said?
Yeah, she did say that. Yeah.
Damn it, she.
Lena is not Lex.
It's good that that Kara knows gender. That's cool.
But they grew up in the same house, Kara. I don't understand why you keep defending her. And how have you so much faith in her, but none in me, this guardian?
That's entirely fucking different. I'm trying to fucking protect you.
You. I don't need your protection. I need your trust. You have mine. I don't understand why it's so hard for me to get yours.
You had the long pause on hard, didn't you? All right, that was a long one. I say we just stick with the 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm good.
I'm
good.
All right.
I think we're diving a little too much into the drunken scene.
Also,
tonight.
that was like super like slow pace, like creepy, like unsettling. I know we probably lost like 4 or 5 listeners and watchers. Like I can't do this.
What are you doing?
Yeah. So we're
that was
we're done with that
disgusting. All right. So going back to the topic on hand, Supergirl, whoop whoop, and now Katie Turbo brought up some good points during break. So I feel like maybe we should take even a step back because it was from a male perspective, even though we weren't downing anything per se, other than I think what the general consensus was that all of us,
she's got her notes.
Got her notes. Uh-oh.
And at this point, Katie Turbo.
Which part are we going to start at?
Well, we were talking.
Well, let's go with the big one was the romance stuff.
Yeah.
The romance stuff. Okay, so how I feel about the romance stuff is you look at so many teen dramas, and this is a teen drama. Yes,
sure.
It is
Agreed.
clear. And, actually, like, I kind of focused on other teen dramas that weren't superhero focused, but I also look at The Flash. Look at The Flash and season 1 of The Flash, where he is totally devoted to her, and he is pining after her, like, and
His sister.
And you haven't gotten to that
step
episode yet, and also with Arrow, where I don't know if you guys discussed it last night. Like, I wasn't in here listening to that, but where he's pining after his ex-girlfriend or ex-fiance.
Felicity?
Yeah.
Okay,
The
later season. See, we're going back. I was thinking season 1 and stuff. I was like, wait a minute.
In the finale,
but
in the finale, he was totally pining.
Like,
that's true. That's true.
There are those like moments in even superhero shows where the male lead is pining after, and those are a lot of the focus of those episodes. Yes, there are those other moments in those episodes. Yes. But I also feel, and Scotty P is going to try to contradict me right now, but I know that there are those moments where you're looking at those scenes, and they're the exact same as they are in Supergirl. But as a girl lead pining over a guy, where yes, it is a female character that is supposed to be strong, but she still is going to have those moments of, I don't want to say weakness, because it's not weakness. It's her age. It's her development. And that's what it is with those characters as well in those male-led superhero shows. And yes.
No. I'm trying not to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You sure?
Yes.
Even though
For
you're
now.
shooting me an evil eye.
For now.
Oh, shit.
You in trouble.
I know, right? I might as well just speak up and then I'll run. And I think our point was, either way, whether it's male, female, who's pining over the other person, I think in general, when it overshadows the writing of the story, was the general consensus. Unfortunately, you typically see it with the female, pining over whoever. I think our main focus was Supergirl is coming into her own right. I want to see her rise above everything else. Love interest, she can have a love interest, of course. There can be that romantic relationship. I think we'd rather see what she's capable of doing in general, more so than worrying about a relationship, even though the stuff like that. But that was also my point going into season 2 with Mon-El, where Mon-El was trying to be the typical, I'll save you. I know you're more powerful than me, but I'll still save you. And she was like, no, I've got to do it on my own. She was still able to have a great romantic relationship with him, but still come into her own and still be the leading woman.
And I will say that, yes, it may be like overly dramatic, but I also feel that they're definitely going for their audience.
Yes.
And as Smallville mentioned before, there are not a lot of girls that are reading comic books these days. And it's definitely been a transition from a lot of girls earlier that were really into comic books that are getting into the comic book movies, whereas nowadays there are these comic book movies that are coming out, and then girls are looking at those movies and seeing those strong characters.
Right.
And then they're going towards the comic books. So I think that's kind of the focus now too, is that CW or the writers of Supergirl are definitely trying to focus more on kind of more issues that girls are dealing with. And that's definitely an issue that girls deal with. And so they're focusing on that more to relate to them. And that's getting girls more into comic books as well.
Absolutely.
I think really what I'm noticing with Supergirl, especially because Supergirl has the opportunity to be kind of right in the middle of all this, that media in general, whether it be comic books, TV shows, movies, radio, everything, is in this weird transitionary phase where we're trying to be way more inclusive of, like, allowing everyone of any kind of background to be represented in one way or another. And women are very much on the forefront of that because, well, let's face it, that's half the species. Kind of important that like half the characters are more than half the species. By like 1%.
Oh, let's not split hairs.
Okay,
Right.
Well, but
sorry.
I think
here.
in that there's going to be a lot of awkwardness when adjusting to the new take on things, and Supergirl is a perfect example of that. There are aspects of Supergirl being a very pro-woman series that are really like very eloquent and very well put, and they bring up a lot of really solid points, but there's also points that they're trying to have that woman empowerment moment, but they kind of shit the bed and make them look dumb. Like in the season fucking finale, when they have the president of the United States played by Linda Carter, that it's her and fucking Kat on Air Force One with like 2 dudes protecting them, and they're flying into like an alien attack with no guns on the ship. Like why is the president? There's no reason why the Air Force One is flying with the jets. Like there's nothing happening that they're going to help at all. The president is just. I understand it's like, I'm going to take charge as a strong woman is the statement they're making, but what comes out on screen is that like I'm dumb. I'm the leader of the free world, and I'm going to put myself in harm's way for no reason whatsoever. And that's where it's in that jumpy point of they're making these statements, but sometimes it kind of has the opposite
visual
effect. Yeah. That it comes off as kind of just it's like you're being dumb right now. Stop. Like it's having the opposite effect.
Oh, for one, it's Linda fucking Carter, so you can just back the fuck off right
Okay.
now.
All right, fair. That's fair.
But also, like, I look at my history of CW shows. I look at what I grew up with, and there were the Dawson's Creeks. I don't want to wait. There were the Felicities, but there were also the Buffys and the Angels. And Buffy and Angel definitely started getting people into comic books. Like, that's where it started. So I think they're trying to draw more of those audiences kind of in with that. But I remember watching Buffy. I remember when Angel died on Buffy, and my sister and I are crying, and my dad is sitting there and he goes, "Don't worry, he'll be back." But it was like that connection of like, oh, boy and girl relationship and dealing with that. And so, like, that's what girls are relating to at that age.
Yeah.
No, and I totally agree. And I guess to be fair on my end, a lot of my negativity for Supergirl specifically, I did not like the fact of the relationship that they were trying to put on her with Jimmy Olsen. I don't think that was a good mix. And I think it's kind of a general consensus that Jimmy Olsen... Again, I believe we did say it, but he was a familiar name for the show.
And
it was weird.
The only reason why.
And also, you're just not a big fan of interracial couples, so...
really?
Wow, Scott.
Jesus, Scott.
Man.
Hail Hydra.
Wow. Wow.
Well, we just don't throw the lamps around here. We just throw the shade.
I gotta go.
At least he said Hydra.
Yeah, it was Hydra. It was Hydra.
And it was two hands, not one.
I would ask if we've seen Kyle, but we know he's not here.
Yeah, I was about to say, have you seen Kyle? He's about this tall.
And he did say hail and not Heil. So
I'm sorry, how tall?
About this. Blonde hair, blue eyes, I believe.
God damn it.
All right.
And we're officially off the rails, folks. Let's go.
Right.
So it was a good run.
So how many, Scotty, how many of the Screwdriver records do you have?
The first one he hates, but the ones after that.
That's true. Zero.
I do have
Anyways.
a point about one thing about the Supergirl. What you said, sometimes it does feel a little like you're pushing it. I feel like one thing that they can really improve on that can send an even more powerful message to the empowerment is having those subtle, like, oh, because I'm a woman, and leave it at that. And then she just badass does it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then the guy, they'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't think she could do that. Some things like that just really can exploit it. But sometimes it does feel a little pushed in the show.
Well, I think it's something that I think Joss Whedon's been really on the forefront of, and why his strong female characters speak so much louder than other writers and story makers, is that he was asked once, why do you write such strong female characters? He's like, because people are still asking that question, which is the perfect fucking response. I think the through actions thing is really where these statements need to be made, not long diatribes where it's like hands on hips. I am a strong woman and this. It's bashing over the head and it's unnecessary. You instead just show strong women doing strong things and being independent and being badasses and through actions, and that's going to speak way better to the commentary than just some diatribe.
And there shouldn't be any question of, or like statement of, oh, because I'm a strong woman, like this is what I do. It should just be something natural that is happening. And that's not, I really do look at Black Widow. Like, that was what she does, you know, and that's like kind of how it's portrayed in the movies, to where she was a very strong character. She was a very independent character. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping for Supergirl is that, like, it's not necessarily something that she's having to constantly prove to everybody because it needs to just be this statement.
Mm-hmm. But, and you don't, because you're not caught up on the show, this is where they actually have a good jump point on exactly that. The whole thing between her and Superman with the silver kryptonite when they're fighting, and then they have the discussion afterwards. He's sitting there going, no, you did good because you beat my ass, basically. And she's sitting there going, well, it was kryptonite. You were weakened. You were this. He goes, no, I was at full strength. You still kicked my ass.
You were just stronger than me.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, just like you, like going perfectly what you just said, that's a perfect jump point to sit there and go, size doesn't matter. Whatever, it's not a
penis doesn't matter.
It does, but just not in that aspect.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, honey.
Anyway.
It does.
Your penis matters.
Penis lives matter. Yes. Oh no, that's gonna be taken by like the. What's the menace group, like the New Kings or some shit? They're gonna start putting those bumper
like
stickers.
the men's right activists.
Yeah. You're gonna see bumper stickers saying like "Penis Lives Matter."
Can that be the name of the episode?
That got ruined before it even got started.
This penis party has to go. Hey,
ho ho.
No, if we make Penis Lives Matter the title, it's going to be like people that get mad about the title of an article before reading it on Facebook. They're going to see that, and they're going to be like, a bunch of fucking dudes talking about how Supergirl's bullshit. And even though during the entire thing we're talking about how like having strong female characters is fucking rad as shit. And they're like, you fucking like misogynist piece of shit. I do. What did we do?
I'm sorry, but if they haven't seen PCU, then fuck that.
Yeah.
There you go. But that also brings us back into talking about lesbians. There has obviously been...
It's pronounced lesbians?
Lesbians, excuse me.
It's French.
What is it with you with the French tonight? Jesus.
It's Italian.
It's Italian. Must be Italian.
Fragile.
Fragile.
Ooh, French dressing.
Vagile must be Italian.
And to drink, Peru.
Trying to talk about the gay rights shit here. All right,
I know.
Damn. Which let's say because you saw season 1 at least, right, Katie?
Yeah.
The relationship really takes off in season 2. To be honest, at first it was kind of, to me, it was like, look, they're gay. It was really in your face about it. It's smoothed out in season 2. Again, just one more reason why. Thank you, CW, for picking this up after CBS canceled it. There was way much better writing, but that relationship, you see gay relationships more often these days, but this one to me was really at a forefront for a show. There were some unnecessary things about it, like I said, but it was done well. By the end of season 2, it smoothed itself out so well, and I hope they stick with it, but unfortunately we're hearing rumors otherwise. Uh-oh. I made her mad, didn't I?
No, I don't know. I think she's wondering what I'm going to say next is possibly.
I was just saying it was a Trump nation, and we should all be careful about what we're saying.
Actually, we might be getting put on a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
I think
you know what
fuck you,
happens.
put me on that list.
I think
see what happens.
The development
Check.
development of the lesbian relationship in Supergirl actually reminded me immediately of another lesbian relationship that I had so much appreciation for, of a formerly considered straight character. Ours.
Aww.
Yeah. No, a formerly straight character in a series that then discovered that like her trouble with relationships previously was because she was way bigger a fan of vagina than penis, is Willow in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yep.
When she kind of discovered that she was having these feelings she wasn't really prepared for at what we call her on the episode, dumpy hippie Tara.
Oh, fuck Tara.
Yeah.
Man.
But it was
the best
a
line
moment
that whole
for-
episode. I
think. It was a moment that she was able to discover like her truer self by just accepting that these were legitimate feelings and to pursue them. And that's what we saw with Alex in Supergirl. But it very much mirrored that kind of development in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So that happened like 10 years before Supergirl. So it's not like this is like edgy as shit, but the difference is that Buffy was a little bit more niche than Supergirl is. Supergirl's on a major network. It's on at like 8:00 at night on a Monday.
More prime time, if
and
you
it's
will.
also focused more towards a teen audience. Where with Willow, when she went lesbian, when she was always lesbian, when she discovered her lesbianism, it was later in the series when it was focusing on more their kind of like young adult audience.
So I'm just wondering why it's still a fucking issue that we have to fucking deal with.
Agreed.
No, agreed. But also, the reason why I bring it up is because it's in the show does such a support of it.
Right. And the shows do, like, in any show that has it. Like, I mean, Buffy had it, Ellen, like, which, you know, kind of drew the whole situation.
Really the huge...
I will say that, like, Dawson's Creek did have a moment of it. You know, there are shows that have pinpointed these situations, but it's like, why is it such a fucking issue still?
The problem is and I've got Smallville after this, but I just wanted to make sure this point because it's something that we've talked, like a couple of us have talked about before. It adds to it yes, the reasoning is support, but did she really have to worry about coming out being gay to her alien sister?
Yeah.
Like, the whole purpose of like the whole subtitle or subplot for this show is about accepting others and doing this, and she was scared about coming out to her sister her adoptive sister from another fucking planet. And I think that's what dumbs it down for the general public. What does that say?
Yeah.
What did that say? I didn't see that.
It's a
Okay.
story that is not ours to tell on the podcast, but
okay.
But you look at situations that are, you look at people that are tolerable now, that it's still an issue with the older generation.
Absolutely.
Even if it's not an issue with that younger generation, there's still that stigma there, and there's not a stigma there. But that older generation is feeling that, and it shouldn't be that.
Right.
I just wanted to make a point, and seeing the progression of superhero TV shows, I won't go all the way back to Linda Carter or The Flash, but I'll say, like, starting from Smallville, I love to always start there.
Of course you do, Smallville.
A huge change in that acceptance. And I think 10 years ago when you mentioned Buffy with that show, it was 10 years ago, I think even less people were accepting of it. I think more and more people are beginning to understand that it's people's way of life. It's how they are. It's what they choose.
It's not weird at all.
Who they well, not choose, but who they are as a person. So
right. And
well, the one thing with this show is, like, think about what we're talking about. We're talking about a show focused for like 13, 14, 15-year-old girls. And think about the points that we're talking about. I understand that, like, it should not be weird at all for there to be a strong woman. Should not be weird at all that there's a lesbian relationship. All this stuff is normal for anyone that is not a bigoted asshole, basically.
Truth.
But the fact that this show is going after those subject matters, even if it's sometimes heavy-handed, and they're doing it in a format of a girl in a cape that saves airplanes falling out of the sky and fights fucking aliens, and they still have time to talk about, like, a women's role in society and looking for equality and homosexual relationships and learning about oneself, like, both sexually and, like, your place in the world as an fucking alien, which is totally the whole thing with Superman and Supergirl in the first place was they were written by immigrants to the United States and trying to find your place as somebody that's outside of the society that you've decided to adopt. These are all things that are being approached in a fucking superhero show. Like, I understand that they can be a little bit heavy-handed sometimes, but they're covering so much shit for a kid's show.
And so many realistic things that are happening
like
now.
Real things that people are actually dealing with in their lives.
Yeah, they definitely have their finger on the pulse of what's going on.
Oh, absolutely.
As far as the generation.
Very much
and
so.
like, you could see this they were like, you could see them trying to pull the trigger on her coming out.
The last
and it's like, and you were like, I see where you're going. Just can you get there? Just get me there.
The name of the season finale was Still She Persisted.
Yes, and I thought that was fantastic. And when I saw that, when I watched it on demand the other day, I was like, I laughed when I saw that. I was like, that is perfect. I was like, bravo.
Yeah,
like, what
so
else
good.
would you have called this?
Yeah.
Especially in 2017, what else would you have called that?
Yeah.
But I do feel like yes, I haven't seen the second season yet, which I am going to start watching immediately.
You should. It's really good.
I should.
Yeah.
And now that I can watch it, I will. But I think like the thing I loved watching about the first season was just the togetherness of all of them, like the family that they kind of created with all of it. Like they were just so well connected, whether it was actually like even her boss, who's a total cunt, at least in the first
but
season.
So wonderful.
But also so amazing and wonderful and just
Ally
and
McBeal, we love you.
Matter of fact, and
it's not two-dimensional.
And it's not that it's not that she's necessarily a cunt. Like you could technically call her that.
Or just blatantly like you did. But,
well, yeah. I mean,
Or
it's
you
me,
could be
so.
subtle and just say, see you next Tuesday.
But I'm not that girl.
I know.
But she also has that heart, and she's created like she loves Kara, like like you can see that relationship grow.
Definitely,
so it's not that she just has her sister and her, it's not that she just has this, but she has this other family that she's creating, and it's so great to see.
And that's you're touching on Cat Grant, and Cat Grant and Supergirl kind of always have had a contentious relationship in the comics, and I really loved the fact that, and it definitely seems like that, especially during the first season. You don't see
towards
Cat,
the end,
especially you don't see Cat as much in the second season, but you can tell that she knows who Kara is. Well, eventually she'll actually getting around to actually saying her name properly.
Yeah.
Kira,
and,
Kira,
as in
but she, she figured out who she is and is rooting for her. She's like really rooting for her and it's hard on her because she knows that if I'm not hard on you, you you won't get from A to B. If I'm not hard on you, I'm pushing you, and I'm pushing you in the direction that you need to go, even though sometimes you don't know you need to go this way.
Well, and that's exactly why I put this topic on the talk sheet as well. Don't break the camera. What are you doing?
Sorry.
What the fuck?
Nothing. We're having a private conversation. Continue. I'm like,
do you need the room?
After you guys leave, yes.
Ew.
Wipe it
Whatever.
down.
You got the room with him last night, so now it's my turn.
Yeah, I did. Anyway, but that's why I put. But that's why I put one of the topics here on the talk sheet that where like you have like Team Arrow, Team Flash. It's not Team Supergirl. It is they talk family this whole show. Season 2, they talk family the whole show. Like they may bicker, they may fight, they may not agree with everything, they may push them and be a bitch about it. But by the season finale, holy shit, if they don't come together and the shit fucking rocks.
And what's great about that is we've talked the entire night about how this is a teen show. But there are 30 and 40-year-olds sitting here talking about the show that have watched it and are talking about this family because we have that family.
Damn right.
We have that. We have the GUI family. We have the friendship family. We have our own family. But we all can relate to that type of relationship with all of this.
Yes.
Because we're all in different aspects so closely related to one another, and so like we just have that closeness with one another, and that's kind of how we as 30 and 40-year-olds can kind of more relate to the show.
Yeah, I mean, well,
it's kind of that's how society is now. We all have we have our families, but some of us aren't really close with families, and then we have the families that we choose.
But also,
and I've definitely been a part of that, and you and your wife brought me in.
Absolutely.
And have always been very, very welcoming. Like, hey, we want you to hang around. We want you to hang out.
Course.
This is stuff that we see in our daily lives. We all, I've known half the people in this room at damn near 10 years. And it's just like, oh yeah, it's family. Everybody's family.
And I just want to mention, I mean, we all agree family is very important in this show, for sure. I do want to see more Supergirl, like, as the character herself, as just the character, not like leave the family out, because that is an important part of who she is to take on roles, to take on villains by herself and figure out things on her own. Because I do feel there is a lot of codependency on all of her tasks at hand.
Right.
And she always looks for someone for that answer, like whether it be John Jones or whoever. I feel like I need to see her really take charge and do stuff. Like the DEO is just sort of
well, you got to have a backdrop.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the DEO works for this situation. But by the season finale of season 2, she made that decision. When
at the end,
like
yeah.
with, again,
absolutely.
Spoiler, which you'll figure out,
You're
Katie,
fine.
sorry, is
I'm in
with-
a Supergirl podcast. I figure there would be spoilers.
right. There's going to be spoilers, but the device that they make to rid the Daxamites of Earth, and then you find out that Kara had the remote the whole time, and that it's up to her solely alone to make that decision because of her relationship with Mon-El.
Yep. Not the DEO.
Not the DEO,
president.
not her sister, nobody. It's up to her to make that final decision. But also, I wanted to backtrack on some of this too, is because a bunch of 30 and 40 or 20 somethings, whatever.
I'm 31.
31, whatever. I can't remember shit. The reason why we can talk about shows like this now is because growing up, we didn't have these fucking shows. We had great TV shows, but they did not impact everyday life like what they do now. And that's why we could still, a grown man watching CW, really?
Dude, I've been waiting my entire life for shit like this.
Absolutely.
How old is she supposed to be?
Kara?
Yeah.
Oh, easy.
20...
Like 20s?
Probably. I
would say
figured
early
25.
20s.
Yeah.
Okay, early to mid 20s.
23 to 25.
Yeah.
So think about where you were in early to mid 20s. Like,
I
did you
was
have your life
drunk.
fucking figured out?
I was
Yeah.
bragging about how quickly I could take down a beer bong. Like, that's what I was doing at that age.
Oh, honey, I could have gone my whole life without hearing that. All right, where were you at that age? Like, you go through that, and but you have to actually like sit back and realize, okay, this is a 25-year-old girl that has this dream of what she wants to do, but also like look at yourself at 25, like. Did you have your shit figured out at that point?
Well, and then as a character of Supergirl that's supposed to be a savior of not necessarily the world in this aspect, of course, but even for a whole fucking city to sit there and go anywhere from like the little guy robbing the convenience store to the fucking alien invasion, and you're expected to save the city.
And have your life figured out?
Right. That is easy for no person whatsoever. I don't care who you are.
Right.
It doesn't matter. But I know we're coming close on time, so I wanted to make sure, because of being a multiverse episode, we have got to talk about the crossover for the Dominators.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
pretty rad.
Where even thank you to Cisco was able to bring Supergirl into the Arrowverse to handle the Dominators.
And I know we talked about this a little bit on previous episodes. It might have been Legends, but the little quip about Adam having previously played Superman that was thrown into that crossover was so fucking perfect. Where it's like,
beautiful.
She kind of looks like my
cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
just fuck.
His
That's
exact
so-
tone. I think she looks like my cousin, or kind of looks like my cousin.
Yeah. It's so fucking perfect.
That is one thing that, well, granted, for the whole multiverse of these shows, the writers have definitely gotten on some page with each other, that they've been able to do these crossovers. I think, of course, it would have been easier to have Supergirl in the same universe, but to still have that and actually have her on her own really sets the show apart and makes it better. Fuck you.
What?
I agree.
No, this is just what we do.
No, we're
make
just making
faces.
faces at each other. It's fine.
We'll save it for another time.
Hey,
I'm
Scotty.
sorry.
Hey, Scotty.
There it is.
That's for
You
you.
get a face. You get a face.
See, that's funny because that's the face
you
he
get a
gives
face.
me when I.
If you
know.
guys look under your seats, you're gonna find faces
showed
for
him how
all
to
of
do
you.
it.
there you
You
go.
get a face. You get a face.
You get a face. And
You
we
get
all
a-
get
we all-
faces.
Now, I wanted to. We were talking about the crossovers. That I think personally, the best thing that could have happened for the show, and you, Scotty, you mentioned earlier, was going to CW.
Oh yes.
You touched on it very briefly, but I think there was way too much pressure for it being a major network show, and it's not because it's a female-led series. It's that it's a primetime show with a very niche audience.
It didn't fit their format.
It didn't fit the format,
Nothing.
and honestly, there's far too many restrictions on this show for being a primetime 8:00 Monday night or Tuesday night.
Look at Conan.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
That,
Exactly.
they weren't able. They would not have been able to get away with the stuff that they got away with on the second season if they were on was it CBS?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no. There would have been that season would have been
So
completely
they
different.
got a lot more wiggle room.
Yeah.
They were able to spread their
Higher
wings.
budget.
Yeah, and
yeah.
honestly, the show really. That's why the show got better, I think, is that they were able to just kind of be a little bit more creative and had a little bit more control over it, and they were able to, like we've been talking about, talk about
Issues.
all these
Yeah.
issues a lot more openly than they were on CBS.
Arrow and Flash definitely paved the way for them
Right,
to be
sure.
able to do what they did with Supergirl season 2, because they're like, hey, this stuff works. What we're doing here works. Give us a show. Let us bring it in. We'll be able to develop it. We'll be able to make it grow. Our audiences on these shows will watch this, and vice versa.
So I have a question for the 4 penis members of the panel tonight.
Or you could just say members.
No, I want members.
Yeah.
Really? Members?
Yeah.
The members of the members.
Yeah.
So heavy-handed with the puns.
So with Supergirl and with Wonder Woman coming out, because Wonder Woman has gotten rave reviews so far, and that's next week's.
Yep. Well, actually, this is going to be releasing the week, the week before Wonder Woman, and then after Wonder Woman, we're doing an episode about badass women in film, TV, and comic books. Just an open conversation that we talked about a bit of that on this episode, but we're going to go just full board talking about Ripley and Alien and any of the strong independent characters.
So I'm asking you. Sorry, Scotty, I'm taking over for you for a second. As real women do.
Oh,
Yes. Yes. Just ask my wife.
What other female characters would you guys like to see in film or TV?
I'm going to go ahead and start off with I have, for what's already happened, the high expectation for Captain Marvel in the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. What I'm also excited about is one that will be coming very soon that I spoke of
Don't.
on the
God,
on the patio.
it's Squirrel Girl.
It's
It's Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
It's
This
Squirrel Girl.
Doreen Green
Okay,
is coming.
we're gonna
to-
move on from
no,
that.
No, let me have this moment. Look, there's
You did
gonna be
ask.
a series. The New Warriors is going to be a series. I think it's on Freeform, and they're doing New Warriors. And although Squirrel Girl was never part of the New Warriors, she was part of the
Great Lakes
Avengers. But she is being added in. I'm going to get a live action Doreen Green. Miss fucking Squirrel Girl is going to be a live action character on a series, and I couldn't be more fucking excited
Thanks,
about
Katie.
He calls me Squirrel Girl in bed. It's really weird.
Oh, well. Does he
Move
make
on.
you wear the tail?
Don't answer that.
He
Yikes.
wears
Do
the
not
tail.
answer.
Call
me Doreen.
Smallville.
I would actually really enjoy seeing Zatanna on the big
Ooh,
screen.
that would be.
If
Granted,
DC needs to step
should
up
have-
its magic universe.
well, because I've always said DC is way more magical, Marvel is always way more
Dr.
science.
Fate,
So
Zatanna.
absolutely, but Zatanna is a very underrated character in my
She
opinion.
is. She's
Absolutely.
very powerful too.
Yeah.
Should have been in
Probably one of the most. Go ahead.
should have been in season 2 of Constantine, if there was one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because they have history.
We talked about that on actually a little bit about Constantine on the Arrow episode as well, where we're very stoked on possibilities for Constantine still coming back. Yeah. So that would be a good addition to that.
All right, Sean Lucas.
Oh yeah, they're actually going to do one of the ones that I've always wanted to see. We'll see how far they bring her along. But I was always a big fan of Nico Minoru from Runaways.
I'm so excited!
And they're doing a Runaways show now.
Yes, they are with James Marsters, and I'm so excited.
So Nico Minoru really doesn't come into her own until like later on in the series, where she kind of becomes the leader of the team. So it'll be a while before they actually do that. But I mean, that's been one of my favorite characters for years, and all my witchy friends who always wanted to cosplay somebody, like I wanted to cosplay somebody witchy.
Nico is definitely the person.
Nico Minoru.
Yep.
You even look Asian. You can pull it off.
Nice.
Runaways is my all-time favorite comic, so yes, I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. All right.
I would say She-Hulk is actually one that I would absolutely
love. And that one has been in talks for actually even a TV run before.
Really?
Well, because she's an actual lawyer.
Right.
And even as a She-Hulk, she's lawyer.
And so you get what's-her-face that plays Kat to play She-Hulk. Since she already played a lawyer on TV before.
That's true.
Then she
Single
totally
female lawyer.
Just wrap it up.
Single female lawyer.
That would be a good one, though.
Yeah,
that
She-Hulk would be solid.
I would absolutely love
as long as they make She-Hulk as much fun to watch as it's always been to read.
Yeah. Oh my God. She-Hulk comics were
There's
always one
been
of my favorites.
lighter fare for
Oh
She-Hulk.
man,
a lot of
breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
and just a lot of like things that you can't get away with in any other book.
Right.
Yeah.
So we all have our characters thinking of different things. We are running out of time, unfortunately, tonight because we know we could go through so much.
Oh, God, yeah.
We didn't even touch on Megan from, just the relationship with
we
her
didn't
and
at all.
John Jones.
But
the
luckily,
Martian Manhunter.
I just want to remind listeners also that that our friend Sophia, at the end of this episode, after the outro by the Creepazoids, we'll have the full conversation with her about like her feelings on the Supergirl series, and I know that she I know okay. Well.
This is why you don't have another girl on, just because I talk and make relevant points, and then it just goes too long.
Oh, okay,
right,
fair enough.
But go ahead, just finish. I'm sorry.
But I know she actually does mention that relationship and how it is a little bit different from the comics, and so it is going to be covered.
Yeah, she actually sent me the text message version of them of everything,
Okay.
so I was able to read it. We can bring it in. Please stick around. Listen to what Sophia has to say. She, like I said, Sophia is very, very bright. She's her own woman. Her husband is a wonderful dude. He's very lucky to have her. Hey,
as is Scott's wife.
As is my wife. That is true. And you are so lucky to have Katie Turbo.
Oh, you think I don't know that?
Okay, all right.
Do you realize how far? Like I'm in Little League and she's in the majors. Like I don't know how this worked out, but I'm good with this. Like I'm
look at you strutting. Look at you strutting. But again, everybody. I mean, we always touch political. Be good to each other. I mean, we're all in this game together. We are a family. We love the GUI and fucking join us or die.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up, new daddy.
Join us or die, or I will swallow your soul. Necronomicon gives us power to rise from the dead. You play to take, or play begins to spread. You can fight all you want, cause you felt to resist. We're here to take the world and rule with an iron fist. So join us or die, or I will swallow your soul.
GUIPodcast.com.
Hi, this is Sophia from Brooklyn, New York. I have been watching Supergirl since it premiered on CBS. then switch networks to the CW. Well, you know. Honestly, that was the smartest move for the show. I really needed this to be a great show. I wanted a strong female lead carrying an entire show because I needed it to bust the myth that female-led projects aren't worth Hollywood's money and time. It took Hollywood 75 years to give Wonder Woman her standalone live-action movie. But she's iconic. Everyone knows who Wonder Woman is internationally. The 70s Linda Carter show was certainly kitschy, but the strong female message and women helping women get ahead instead of trying to push each other down was so overt, so prevalent. Diana Prince carried the show. I just rewatched the entire series again in preparation for the movie. I wanted Supergirl to have that same message, but in the context of today, I'm still waiting for the show to get there. It took quite a few episodes for Kara to figure out who she wanted Supergirl to be. It's an origin story with a slight change to canon, so it needed time to establish this new universe. I get it. It took even more episodes for the show to figure out how Supergirl herself fit into the show. Kara's awkward and slowly finding her voice, but it's been more of an ensemble drama like Blind Spot, where an episode focuses on a different ensemble player storyline, then there's a big nasty to be defeated, either within a single episode or through a standard 3-episode arc. The notion that female-led projects need stronger supporting characters because she can't carry the project alone, that I find utterly false. A strong ensemble cast is fantastic. A strong female lead is fantastic as long as everything else is well done. The cinematography, the writing, the jokes, the timing, the acting, all of those things should be gender neutral. So, speaking of Supergirl being more of a background player, let's take, for instance, the time devoted to J'onn J'onzz, aka Hank Henshaw, and Megan Morse, aka Miss Martian. Their story, that story arc. I loved the discovery and the struggle for both characters in that story arc. I really enjoyed both actors portraying the Martians. However, Supergirl barely felt like part of the main cast in her eponymous show during these arcs. She's been a background player for much of this show's life, whether it was on CBS or on the CW. Granted, Melissa Benoist's rendition of Moon River, so adorable. Another point of contention for me is that the creatives have taken a relationship that in my exposure to the DC universe, which includes comic books and animation, is more that of a mentor and a mentee or an uncle and a niece for all intents and purposes. And they stuffed it into a romance. It's as if someone thought, oh, everyone else had someone to desperately love. That's what the ladies want, right? It's got to be Hank's turn. The entire romance feels so forced. The bond J'onn has with Megan that pulls her back to Earth was established really early on when her blood is used to save J'onn's life. I mean, it almost killed him, but it saved him ultimately. The permanent, lasting bond is evident right there from that moment on. A great romantic love wasn't necessary to show the depth of that connection. They are Martians with mind-melding, empathic capabilities. They already feel all the feels. The widely held belief that shows, especially female-led ones, must all have romantic entanglements, that everyone must be paired off to get female viewership up, is antiquated and kind of patronizing, really. I know I am not the only one here, want to see well-choreographed fight scenes. Hello, Former Lois Lane versus current Supergirl equals epic fight. Fantastical baddies with depth and plenty of pseudoscience that just skirts the edges of reality. So close that it makes you second guess yourself. Like, I think I read or heard something about this in a respected journal, didn't I? Didn't I? No? Maybe? I don't have to have a romance mixed in when everything else is well done. All of these tangents, all of these gripes to say that I can't wait to see where the creatives take Supergirl next season. As many issues as I take with the show, I will be scouring the internet all summer for theories about the massive baddie that is going to crash land into Kara's life. Didn't they do this at the end of season 1? Crash land? Anyway, I assume Rain is the baddie. Just my thoughts from the New 52 storyline. And where or when